Well, you ready to do some self-harm?
Well, I mean, sure. I have small children, so let's already did that.
Last week we poked some fun at all of the wonderful people that come into hobby stores. We're a little hyperbolic probably, but like it was all in good fun. People seem to enjoy the video.
I mean, the one thing, like, we missed a lot of good ones. We missed a lot of people.
Yeah, people had some really good ones.
Stepped up with some excellent ones. I was like, oh yeah, like
people were digging deep on some
people were
ones,
like, yeah, you forgot about this one. Yeah.
So hopefully we get some good ones for this week from this one. But we'll gonna
probably get more.
Oh yeah, because this is more.
Yeah.
People will be like, oh, this is the type of store I go to, and this guy's totally like this or whatever. Yeah, so we're going to attempt at least to give a few of the main kind of hobby shop owner tropes, if you will. People you might want. Timmy's out in the wild going into a hobby store, opens his local gaming store, and who's sitting behind the desk?
Timmy was allowed out of the house.
Timmy got the hall pass to get milk, and he's taking advantage of the good nature of his partner.
So there's like his wife's yelling at him, the baby's screaming at home.
Timmy's like, I gotta get some paints or something. I don't know. Like he's got to get out of the house.
Well, he can't say he's getting hobby. His wife hates that he's in the hobby, so
of course, Timmy.
He has to pretend that he's going somewhere else to. Never mind that he spends 3 hours at the hobby store. That's not
totally not based on a real person at all. No. So what might be the first person Timmy might run into? Let's start with an old classic. If you ever watched The Simpsons, this is the kind of person everyone thinks of when they think of any hobby comic game store, is the comic book guy.
I have the hair. I have the I don't have the balding at the top yet.
That product is not for you.
That product is not for you. That is not how you use that. Yeah.
So this guy is obviously a bit of an elitist.
It's a weird combo. I think people because the business is so unforgiving. You can be. It's like there's always another layer or blended into whatever archetype. There's also like a max jadedness.
Oh yeah,
because
for sure.
Nothing goes the way it's supposed to. So he's elitist and he's jaded and he's just mad. So because he's seen there's too many kids coming in and touching stuff. Messing up the rack and asking him
not appreciating the thing he loves the most.
Exactly.
That's the really
they were like, this is a dumb one.
Oh, Warhammer. That's for kids that aren't good at rugby.
And he's like, And he's like, no, those are expertly made miniatures that come all the way from England.
What are these toys? They're actually figurines that you build in paint.
Yeah. Exactly, that guy. Yeah.
He's a beloved character.
He's beloved.
Yeah, because his heart's in the right place.
Usually survives because he's the only one around. There's nowhere else. It's a small town. And there's nowhere else to get those things, so you just go there and you just deal with it.
Probably not unsimilar to this guy. It could also become this guy.
Oh yeah, you can slowly
turn into what we'll just coin as the old man or the old person.
Old man. I'm already that guy.
Yeah, you're definitely. If you're not that guy, you're going to be that guy pretty soon.
Going to be that guy.
This is
10 years in. Give me another 5.
It's funny because I should be this guy because I didn't get the break from retail like you did.
That's true. You have more service time than I do.
This is the guy that basically like he's just been in the trench for too long.
Way too long.
Seen too many things.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just like, and usually the store is reflected in that it's whatever store it is. It's usually like guy's been there for literally forever, 30 years, owns the building or something, and it's just one of those disheveled, dusty. Just mishmash it. No one knows what's going on in there, but they go in because sometimes they find a box on the ground full of some old nostalgic collectible, and the guy's just like you can barely find him. First of all, you walk in and he's somewhere in the store, and you don't know.
This is sort of like Timmy goes in and he's like, Timmy's kind of a nice guy. Like he tries to be
supports
polite.
his local hobby.
He does. Yeah. And he might even try to strike up a conversation with the owner, and Timmy might be like, hey, how's it going? And the guy would answer with something like, well...
Can't even utter a word.
Can't even form a word. Or it's something like, it's immediately negative or whatever.
You have the new Primaris Lieutenant, and he's like, you just grunt and And he'll just reply with "Did you see? It's over there. Did you see it over there?
Yeah.
It's on the wall."
Yeah,
and you're
exactly.
like, "What are you talking about?"
Or if you ask this particular person to like for any level of customer service, it's this like whole just like you're you know.
Yeah. This is usually also the same guy who offers a discount if it's raining.
Yeah,
Well, it's a slow day.
He's got to stay open.
He's like 20% off, please. Please, you got to buy anything before you leave.
And I think these places exist a lot on like momentum. You know, like they've just been around so long. It's a local place you go. It's sort of like the same concept as like the local drinking hole. You know?
Yeah.
It's like that's the place I go because that's the place I've always gone.
I know, and you just go anyway, even though it's terrible. Yeah, old
market forces.
The guy's just waiting. He's just waiting for the developer, anyone to come and just offer him like $100,
please,
and he'll just sell it.
Please,
just give it away.
Put me out of my misery.
Put me out. I'll take the dumbest lowball offer, whatever it is, just to get him out of their prison, their hobby prison.
If he thought he could do something else for $5 less, he would be doing it. You know,
he would be.
Moving on. This, you know, and this is maybe old man was this guy when he started out, but oh my gosh, the years got him. But the fanboy kind of archetype.
Yeah, you walk in and you're like, oh, you love this. So in our store it would be the paints and the because we have way too many of those. Yeah. But yeah, it could be. You know, you're coming in to buy, again, Timmy's coming in to buy those, he's probably looking at a lot of Space Marines, but he's not necessarily buying them because he doesn't want to get in trouble, but he'll still buy one. But the guy's like, you know, all he talks about is, I don't know, anything else. Maybe it's Star Wars Legion or something. He's probably not that, but he could be that. Or Trench Crusade. Maybe it could be Trench Crusade these days.
Could be.
He's also, you know, that's a double it because he's also sticking it to GW. He's just giving it to.
Cool.
Yeah.
This guy owns a business. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So basically, he's just attacking customers. Or he's just all he is about a certain thing, and won't even give you the time of day for any. Even though they sell those other items, you know.
We used to see this back in the day at GWs a lot. Like where like a particular staff member just like hyper attached to like a game or like an army or something like that, and it's sort of like it's a typical like they're so laser, and you can see this if you walk into a shop a lot of the time. Is like what are they focusing on is kind of one of the tells, and then also if you happen to have a conversation with this person, does the conversation inevitably end up there every time, right? Like
I mean the equivalent here, like we have a lot of Age of Sigmar in the cabinets. That's like a game that we like a lot, but it would now Chris and I don't do this because we're not crazy. But yeah, it would be like if someone again was looking at anything else, then I was like, yeah, that's great, but did you check this out? Like, and just kept shoving and returning the conversation to the, you know, it could be a major turnoff for sure because people are like, I just wanted to get.
But have you answered Sigmar's call yet?
Yes, right, yeah. We're all guilty of a bit of loving a certain game a lot or a product more, even if it's not, you know, maybe the most popular game.
Sure.
But yeah, that can be.
Well, you see it work really well in this. Like, you can get away with being a fanboy owner if you're a fanboy of like a big like Herculean product. Like if you're a Magic fanboy, you can probably run a Magic store and be pretty successful.
Well, we can. There's I think of places that are like full Pokemon stores or something. Like you have to be really into that. And I don't know. I find Magic's a little easier because it's. I feel like it maybe, I don't know, does Magic have a wider net? Maybe not. I don't know. But because you can kind of get into Magic as a teen and then be in it for life. Pokemon I find is hard for me is a harder ask because it's like a little bit juvenile. I don't know. It's like and the game doesn't have enough crunch for me. But I think that's the nostalgia and the collectability. I guess is what drives
from the hobby standpoint, hobby store standpoint.
Yeah.
Magic. This is maybe a good topic for another video. But like Magic has like I think a bit more. To offer like a business in a store because you have like more gaming aspects.
Well, they do more of the crossovers, like you know. So whereas Pokemon is strictly
like Pokemon,
IP, like
Pokemon is a huge IP.
There's no Transformers Pokemon,
but like I don't think you're like as a product. I think Magic probably churns more money for local stores just because the singles market I think is more robust because people are playing a lot more. Yeah. And you see like the card values. There's more value in the cards, which shows more money's moving around. I think. Whereas like, I like obviously I know Pokemon Sealed obviously sells a lot, but one thing Pokemon's not doing yet is like doing the like $500 booster boxes and like all that sort of stuff, right? So that's Magic is really tapped into that stuff. So
yeah, they operate actually very differently. It's a very interesting conversation how that works. Yeah.
This particular next character is it's I would just, as a person who does this for a living, and as a person who has done it for a living for like a couple decades, I find this particular person to be one of the most frustrating people. No, you know, it's just because like this person is essentially like the hobby store owner. So like they're running a hobby store as a hobby.
Yep. Yeah.
It's whether they came into some cash, or it's just something they do on the side. They already have a job, and then they're doing this as well because they really want to or whatever. It's yeah.
Yeah, they just were like, I'm just gonna do this.
I'm gonna do it,
and they probably also like. There's various flavors of this. Sometimes it's someone who's. I see this with card collectors, or it could be Warhammer, it could be Lego, where they themselves started to collect it into such volume,
right?
You know, that they managed to find a way to gain accounts or gain access to costs of and then they start, you know, hoarding, and then at some point it's like, well, I might as well open a store.
Yeah, well, we see this with like we have a customer who frequents ours, like D&D stuff, like, and he just collects vintage D&D, and just as a byproduct of buying things, essentially just to collect stuff for himself.
Yeah,
has basically, because he's amassed so much stuff, turned it into a business.
Because he sells it
because he needs to get rid of the other stuff that he doesn't want from the collection.
So there's
it's kind of interesting.
So there's that, but I think the one you're really referring to is literally a guy or girl who has like basically they can do it because they don't need the money. They're just doing it for the hell of it, and sometimes. I find those stores sometimes don't last very long either because they get tired of it. They're just like,
this is actually a lot of work.
And there's a bit of jadedness because they don't get the thing they think they're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
So the telltale signs are kind of just like, they're just in. It's lackadaisical. They're open whenever they feel like. It's a bit of a clubhouse in there. Sometimes the store doesn't make a lot of sense with because they've got like. I don't know, pinball over here and some Warhammer over there and some video games. And
it's a very specific bullet you shot there.
So we could talk about this now because it was like ages. It was like literally 10 years ago. There was before we opened our store here, up the street, like I don't know, about less than a mile or whatever, or half a kilometer away. There was this little shop, a little bit smaller. The space was smaller than ours, maybe half the size or something.
Yeah.
Maybe a little, maybe two-thirds. And it was a bit of just kind of like it's like when you move into a new neighborhood, you kind of want to like see what's around and kind of get an idea like, is this a competition or what, you know, because you don't want to, if there's already an established store, you might rethink opening next to it or whatever. And this was the classic. This is like a store I would imagine in a busy mall, you know, that used to exist or maybe still exists in some malls. Is like they're just trying to do a bit of everything, but it doesn't also like work. And they've got
You're being very generous to this person.
I am. So you know, we roll in and on one hand I was like, okay, it's not really a store for me, but they've got like the board games, and you can tell they've just chosen what they think are like. They've got like some Monopolies and Risks and some Catans, and just a mishmash. It's like whatever the distributor said, just buy this or whatever. Yeah. And then they had some random Game Boy games, like Game Boy Advanced and DS games or something, like in a little section. Yep. And then they had some D&D, and then he had like a cabinet. Like his till, I recall, this is so long ago, it had like a little showcase, and he had like random, just kind of, what do you call it, nerd culture stuff, like a fancy Superman belt buckle, and like, I don't know, other, you know, some figurines, like a Green Lantern figurine, like it's just like, and I don't know if he had any Warhammer or not, I don't know, maybe he had some, like, it was a very much like, I don't know what this is exactly. It kind of seems like something you see in a hot tourist spot where people are walking by and they're like, I gotta buy something, I guess, and they just kind of like, it's like trinkets and knickknacks and
but like, I don't know. And just from like obviously being in the industry, you can immediately walk in a store and be like, oh, he's got no Anchor products. He's got nothing anchoring people to his business. Like that's the problem with knick-knack stores, unless you're in a high traffic tourist area, which our area is definitely not. You need like brand names to kind of bring people in, at least for the first time, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But that guy you could tell he literally curated a store of things that he liked.
Yeah,
and that's sometimes if you're lucky and the things you like are popular enough, and you can get lucky, but that's what it is. It's luck, right? It's good luck or bad luck. So in his case, it was bad luck because the things that he liked didn't translate into a successful business.
It made me think of like a weirdly, like, if I could distill Big Bang Theory, and if you just could like take that down and then just throw it into a store somehow.
But even most people have comics or whatever.
But even their local stores, mostly a comic shop.
They have an anchor.
Yeah, exactly, and then with some other stuff in it. This wasn't even that. So anyway, and then the lasting impression was we just kind of, again, they were like 10 minutes, and one of our friends like kind of just did just quietly grabbed a board game to just like look at it, and the guy from across the room's like, "Oh yeah, that was a good one." He just kind of like. like just kind of just said it from, and we were like, huh? Because you're like, are you talking to me? Like,
no greeting when he
there
came
was no
in,
conversation.
Nothing. Yeah, no conversation. Just oh yeah.
And then we're like, no, we're good or whatever. And we left. And we're like, okay, this is not going to be a problem.
Oh my god.
And they were gone. Unfortunately,
poor guy.
And less than a year later, 6 months.
Not even like a year.
I think it was 6 months. Yeah. I was driving by, and I just did and it turned into like a popsicle place or something, which lasted much longer. They're gone too now, but they lost it. They lost.
You got replaced by popsicles. Congratulations. Oh my god. I think you could probably do a subcategory of this category as like the side hustle person.
Oh yeah.
Because they're probably actually more common than the other variant, where like the side hustle person is doing it because they have their job. And they probably make good money in, or enough money in. This is why the boredom is kicking in, right? They have their means are being met at home, hopefully, and they have their job, and it's not giving them the like enlightenment that they desire in life, right? Whatever the itch that they need scratched. So, and this is especially common in our current society. Is you're supposed to like, for some reason, turn your hobbies into money making. Things, right? You're supposed to you're supposed to have a hustle. So what do people do? They create side hustle hobby stores. There's definitely a few examples of these in our area, and usually they start out as like, I'm open evenings a couple days a week and on the weekend or whatever. So this guy's literally like going home from work and going to a second job, or maybe they sell out of their garage, or like they're doing weird stuff like that.
Like our YouTube business.
That's right. This is a green screen after all.
Right,
you were out of the garage. Yeah. Wow, I wasn't ready for that. And
you didn't say no right away.
No comment. And this person inevitably. I
don't do this for a hobby. This part
split.
is purely for the money. Anyway.
Get that out of the way right away. These people are basically. They could also like set up where they're not even running it. They just like pay some people to do it, and then they're just like financing it because they have that set up. Whatever it is, but the business never really feels like it's being fully paid attention to, and inevitably like they tend to do like one thing particularly well, but then because the business is built, I've seen this. I'm not going to name names obviously here, but like there's one particular business I can think of that. Because it's basically an extension of the person's interests. Like they opened it because they're trying to get satisfaction out of their life. They're not trying to run a viable business. Yeah. So the business changes like every 6 months.
Oh yeah.
Because like the thing they're into keeps changing. So like maybe they're really into Warhammer, but then okay, now I'm really into this game. Okay.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden they stop reordering Warhammer as much, and then they're ordering a lot more of this.
Yeah.
And then, I really got into 3D printing, so now they're like half the store turns into 3D printing stuff. Yeah. And like every time you go in, like it's like, well, what do I expect now? Like what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
So
usually also rich guy.
Usually they have some money or resources behind it, right? So I'm just like, none of these are good tropes. Like,
not
these
really.
Are all... Notice how, side tangent here. Notice how, like, you have to have, obviously, a little bit of something wrong with you if you're opening a hobby store. You can't just be like, guy who's good at business guy. That's not a category, because if you were that guy, you wouldn't open a hobby store the first
You would
place.
not. You would not. No. You'd just look at the numbers and you'd be like, "Why? What?" No.
I don't think I'll just invest in stocks, or
You literally
I'll
I don't know. You can buy pallets of magic. You can do so many things that are will just be much less work and more money back.
So last but not least, the in over his head guy. Yeah.
This extends to just about anyone who opens a physical brick and mortar of any kind or sells something. They just have too much going on. They got, again, Timmy's the hobby store owner in this case, and he's, again,
made some poor choices
in this situation, and he's just...
His wife would never let him open a
hobby store. But he did it anyway, and it's just life is hard at home, hard at the store.
Divorced him, he opened a hobby store.
Yes. And it's really tough. Like, he can't get anything ordered. Everything is upside down.
Well, Timmy never worked in a hobby store before. That's
usually the big problem. Is they go and do it, and they actually, again, they were fans of the hobby, or they know one of the games a bit because they played it and collected, and they extended to opening a store, and they just again, it's back to my little previous example, that one guy that closed. They don't know what's going on. They're just kind of ordering whatever they're told to, and they don't know how to have proper customer relations or conversations. Everything, they just, sometimes they're adversarial. Sometimes they promise things and can't deliver. Everything frazzles them. Like some business accounting thing comes up and they lose their mind. They can't handle it. Like, I don't know. They're just always stressed, like to the max. And you're just like, sometimes you're just like, I just wondered if you had more of this, and they're just like, like just losing it, So that's, like I said, I think that's probably a catch-all for most anyone who's trying to run something by themselves or start up something.
I mean, it's generally not a good idea. Like, customer brain is a real thing. Like, and you don't have to not have a customer brain if you're a customer. Like, you're totally... like, fine, right? But the second you open a business, you have to fight customer brain with every ounce of your body, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the ways you get rid of customer brain is by working in businesses that are like the one you want to open, right? Mm-hmm. You get to see things from the other side. Yeah. It's a really important thing that a lot of people just don't, like, put any stock into for some reason, right? And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to blow a whole bunch of money in my first couple years trying to figure it out.
Oh yeah.
Why am I going to pay for that experience?
You're going to make mistakes, front, but some of them will just kill you instantly. So just we always preach this, that sometimes just reordering like an extra 5 or 10 of something that you shouldn't have, you're just stuck with it for years and years and years. And sometimes it's much worse, right? So that's why the magic store analogy is always like the one that is the scariest to me, because or any card business, because you do have to float a lot of money on a set, and if a set flops or there's a market crash or something funny, you just don't have the time to wait like a bigger guy can. It's
funny, for how little money there is in it, there sure is a lot of risk.
Yeah. Enormous risk. Yeah.
You're not supposed to make much money, but there's a ton of risk involved.
Well, it's because collectible cards, especially, are the original, NFTs or whatever you want to call it, bitcoins. Like they're. It's something that should be worth nothing, but is worth something because of this, this artificial demand or
enough
whatever.
People believe that it's worth something.
Yes,
that's all it is.
So
right?
it is, weighing over their head guy. I sympathize. That's tough. Yeah. You're just like, sometimes I feel like that it comes from a good place. They're like, this is like, I want to try this, and look, you need people have to take risks to do anything, to start up anything. That's like
I've had a lot of people like approach me over the years being like, oh, what's your advice like for starting a business, right? Like, and immediately I'm like, well, do you have a business plan?
Sure.
Right? Like, that's one of my first kind of hip flex reactions.
And they're like, what's that?
And they're like, well, and immediately if that person's like, I like no, or like, it's like, what are we talking about here, right? Like, you haven't like taken the time to like, you're not make any major decision in your life. You're not gonna take the time to think it through and write down like your thoughts and actually research and plan. Like, these are huge red flags. Yep. Red flags, games and hobbies.
Yeah.
With Timmy behind the desk.
We ended off here, like, I don't know, we spent a full calendar year just having, 1 or 2 time a month meetings discussing every aspect of what we thought we needed to know. numbers, locations, products, how we're going to do this and that. And looking back, I'm still like, I still don't know how it worked. It was still like,
Well, yeah, and we still got a lot of things wrong.
Got a lot of things wrong, and it was a different era too. But like, yeah, like there's in retrospect, it was a lot of. You still need that ingredient of like a ton of luck too. But yeah, it was. So I can't imagine someone who's just like, I'm just going to do it. And you're like, okay, like. A lot of the stuff you can't just like try and fix in a day or two. Like you need to be prepared ahead of time, and especially when it comes to them, you might have some cash saved or borrowed. That can burn through real quick if you just start doing. Like there's a dumb thing. Another little thing. Like I have these like till rolls that I bought just before we switched to systems or something, and now I don't need them. It was like, it's a dumb thing, and I'm like, I guess I could try and resell them somewhere, but it's just like,
oops, yeah,
like.
Sometimes you can't even plan for those things.
Yeah, so just imagine early days you just didn't do enough research or something happened, and you bought a thing, and now you're just like, oh, it's the wrong thing or. Whatever. So
things you don't have to think about when you punch a clock. So much, right? Yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed us doing some self-harm today.
Which one are you, by the way? I
thought I was going to get out clean
Scott here. You thought, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm old man, obviously.
Well, obviously, I'm hobby store guy. I think
hobby store.
Like I'm the guy who turns hobbies into jobs or whatever. Well, I'm also obviously I'm a hybrid class, if anything. I was trying to avoid that one, but I knew Jay was going to get me before the end. Just did you want to recheck that again? I think you might have filled it out wrong.
Yeah.
All in good fun, right, guys? So which hobby stores have you gone into? Do any of these fit the bill for the person you buy your toys from? Or is there a new class we didn't think of or cover here? I'm sure there are. I can't wait to read the comments.
Yes.
And if you enjoyed this one, go check our one from last week where we make fun of all of our customers in good spirit. And hopefully next week we're going to tackle the types of gamers you might see. So stay tuned for that one. It'll be a doozy. Mm-hmm. Thanks, guys, for watching. Check out our Patreon, Lords of War Games and Hobbies. Support us on there so we can make lots of more content in 2025. Take care.
Bye.